Hey guys, I am in Thailand right now, Bangkok, and I taught a memory seminar here, which is what I do. I travel around, teach people how to memorize. I got a question in my memory seminar yesterday: how do you forget? And it's a question I've gotten a lot over the last 25 years, but I've never done a video on how to do it. Now, what do I mean by how to forget? A lot of people have experiences that they don't want to remember anymore because it's painful or whatever. I have two strategies here for you on this. First of all, let's say you're watching TV and some terrible news comes on that is just really disturbing. Maybe a child has been hurt or injured or killed or just something terrible. For me, that's a terrible story. The worst thing I could do, or not, if I don't want to dwell on this and be thinking about this to where it's bothering me, if a bad news story comes on TV, you don't want to just turn off the TV, because if you turn off the TV, that was the last thing you saw. So what's your brain going to be doing? Your brain's going to be replaying the last thing you saw. The best thing you can do is not turn off the TV. The best thing that you can do is change the channel and start watching something else. Watch a different program for 10 or 15 minutes and then turn off the TV, because that will be the last thing that you thought of. I never want to end the night or end the day, or even if I hear a story that's just really troubling to me, I will change the channel to a different channel. That doesn't mean I live in a bubble. That doesn't mean I don't acknowledge reality and that there's bad things out there. But sometimes you just don't want something to stick in your head. So that's how you would forget it. Number two, here's another strategy for you. Let's say that you've got a memory and it's just really painful and it really bothers you a lot. We have the power to control how our memories see that memory. And this is what I mean. Try this. Every time you think of that memory, change it. In other words, if right now you can think of that memory in the background, if you made it brighter and bigger and bigger and bigger in your memory, you're probably going to experience more pain, and it's just going to become more real, and it's going to get bigger and it's going to get bigger in your head. And then every time you remember it, it's just going to be worse and worse and worse. But what if every time you remember that memory, you can change the colors? In other words, don't remember it as bright and vivid, but darken the colors. And then instead of making it big, make it really small in your brain, and maybe put it way back in the background. And take that painful memory, make it smaller, push it back, and see yourself pushing it back. And then every time you think of that memory, change it this way. Make it smaller, make it darker, push it away. And over time, you can change the way that memory affects how you feel, how it changes your state. And so those are really two tips on how to forget. Number one, change the channel. And I don't just mean with television. I mean, if you have a bad thought or if you have something coming up in your mind, put something positive in there. Replace it with something positive. So that's kind of the analogy of changing the channel, replacing it with something positive. And then the second step is actually change that memory in your brains. And did you know that our brains really do that anyways? If you take a memory and then somebody asks you about it 2 or 3 years later, the same situation, your memory is actually going to have changed the reality of what happened. So your memory does that unconsciously and on its own. So let's do it purposefully to our benefit so we can forget the things that we no longer want to remember. Those are my two strategies on how to forget. If this helped you out, please give me a thumbs up. Please like and share. I'd love for you to subscribe. I normally don't do videos on how to forget. Normally I do videos on how to remember, how to memorize, and we got lots more of those coming. Also, click the link down below. We're always giving away free gifts. We have free stuff, tools that you really need to take your memory to the next level. You're gonna want this stuff, so click the links below. Talk to you guys later.